tomorrow will take care of itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. And be careful in judging others, lest you be judged. For the way you judge is how you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Why do you worry about the speck in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the log in your eye? Or why do you say to your brother, let me take that speck from your eye, when there's a log in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the log out of your eye, and then you can see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Do not give what is sacred to dogs. Do not cast your pearls before pigs. If you do, they may trample them underfoot and then turn and tear you to pieces. Instead, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives. He who seeks finds. To him who knocks, the door will be opened. Which of you, if your son asks for bread, would give him a stone? Or if he asks for fish, will give him a snake? If you, being evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more does your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him? So in everything, do to others what you would have them do for you, because that summarizes the law and the prophets. Enter through the narrow gate, because broad is the gate and wide is the way that leads to destruction, but small is the gate and narrow is the road that leads to life, and few there are that find it. Beware of false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. By their fruit you will know them. Do men pluck grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? A good tree produces good fruit. A bad tree produces bad fruit. A good tree cannot produce bad fruit, or a bad tree good fruit. By their fruits you will know them. If a tree does not produce good fruit, it's cut down and thrown into the fire. By their fruit you will know them. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only he who does the will of my Father in heaven. Truly I say to you, on that day many will come to me and say, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? And in your name did we not cast out demons and do many miracles? And I will say to them, depart from me, you evildoers. I never knew you. Therefore, whoever hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the stone. The rains came down. The streams rose. The winds blew and beat against that house, but it stood solid because its foundation was on the rock. Whoever hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rains came down, the streams rose, the wind blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. And Matthew says, when Jesus had finished saying these words, the crowds were amazed at his teaching. Before he taught them as one who had authority and not as their teachers of the law. Does he still have authority today? That's up to us, isn't it? That's up to you. Does he still have authority today? Are you building on the rock or the sand? If God is your king, you will live biblically. What will you do differently because of what you have heard this afternoon from the greatest sermon ever preached? Let's take a moment to pray about that. Bow your head and your heart with me. Take this moment, just you and the Lord. What's at least one thing the Lord wanted you to hear? He brought you across the world to this Mount of Beatitudes to hear. What's at least one truth that right now you are agreeing to obey? Pray about that, would you? Father, how I thank you for my sisters and brothers and their willingness to be in this place to hear your word again. Your word speaks. It's living and active, sharper than a double-edged sword. It never returns void. We have heard your word today. We submit to your truth. We say that because you are King of our lives, we will live by your word, that we might know your good, pleasing, and perfect will. Your plan to prosper and not to harm, your plan to give hope in the future, we claim it together. In this area where these words were first preached, we receive them, we accept them, we obey them. For the rest of our lives, we say in Jesus' name. Mike.
George, these are the grounds at the Mount of Beatitudes.
Is that a video?
You look through there, you can kind of see the Sea of Galilee. We're right on the Sea of Galilee.